coming to you from the Radford Studio Center lot in Studio City, right over the hill from Hollywood. This is the place where dreams are made, legends are born. Hello and welcome to The Lot. I'm Suzanne Marquez. Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves is in theaters now, and the world premiere happened here in LA. The leader of the pack, Chris Pine, talked about how he identified with his character.
I did identify with Edgin. You know, he's kind of a failure at life and fatherhood and a lot of things, but he picks himself up and tries again.
He sure does. All of the stars came out for the red carpet at the Regency Village Theater in Westwood, or shall I say black carpet. Michelle Rodriguez, Hugh Grant, Reggae, John Page, and the rest of the star-studded cast posed together before screening the film, including Daisy Head, who plays the villain in D&D, the Red Wizard of Thay. She came to our studios to chat with KCAL news anchor Rudabeh Shabazi.
So this is a super exciting project. Were you one of the kids who played Dungeons & Dragons?
I actually wasn't.
You weren't? Did you know anything
player.
about it before this project?
No, I'd had friends who had played it, so I sort of had a rough idea of what the world was, but it's so expansive and it's still growing. It's an incredible world, and I just feel honored to have been a part of this adaptation of it.
There's definitely a cult following and has been for years and years and years. So tell us about your character in the film.
So my character is quite an isolated creature. She is quite a dark character, and she is essentially the villain of the piece. But I wanted to ground her in some sort of reality, so I just developed a kind of backstory which allowed me to find some redeeming qualities to her personality, and that she's the reason that she is for a reason. By no means does it justify the behavior, but she is really determined to have purpose and drive and find her place, which is the reason behind doing what she does.
Even a dark female villain can have some redeeming qualities, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Somewhere.
And this is an all-star cast. Tell me about the cast and what it was like working with them.
Oh my gosh, the cast is incredible. They are all so talented, but such wonderfully lovely, diverse, dynamic human beings, and I think that what's so beautiful about this cast and also about the characters that they play is that it shows how important diversity is, because it's redolent of the diversity that we see in the world that we live in. And I think it's all about embracing people's differences and not identifying them for them and then polarizing people because of them. I think this is just a lovely way to embrace everyone's differences.
It's a microcosm of the actual world.
Totally.
Or maybe how it should be, right?
Totally, totally.
And this was shot in Ireland. How was that? Beautiful scenery.
Oh my goodness, so beautiful. I went up to the northern coast when I was there and saw the Giant's Causeway, which is a natural rock formation made of like 40,000 like stone rock columns. And just being in such epic landscape just really helped infiltrate into that kind of fantastical world that we're creating on set. It's just remarkable scenery and just epic.
What do you think people might be surprised about when they see this film?
I think it has all the things that you'd expect from an action adventure. Like, it's got humor, it's got action, it's got thrills, but it also has a lot of heart. And I think there's something beautiful in that really juxtaposes the fantastical elements of this expansive universe that these characters inhabit. But I think there's something so beautiful about the emotionality, and John and Jonathan did such a great job with the script in developing these characters and giving them heart and showing that vulnerability can actually be a great strength, and about how people's differences can actually unite them and they can find a common goal. And I think it might not be surprising, but I think that's an element that stands out that hopefully people will take away from it.
Maybe one of the main themes of the movie, and I can tell just by talking to you how richly you developed this character. So if everyone else did it the same way, it's going to be quite an epic treat to see.
D&D star Chris Pine could return for Princess Diaries 3. He played Lord Nicholas Devereux in the last film, a rival to the throne for Anne Hathaway's Princess Mia Thermopolis. But they eventually become friends and then love interests.
Bonjour.
What an entrance. Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston return to the scene of the crime in the sequel to their Netflix movie Murder Mystery. The private detective duo find themselves on a case that leads them to Paris. They go on a mission to track down a friend after he's kidnapped at a lavish wedding. Murder Mystery 2 is now available on Netflix.
You're not here.
We're not there. The car exploded.
We're getting a preview of Wes Anderson's new sci-fi comedy set in 1955, Asteroid City. Jason Schwartzman is stuck with his son and father-in-law, played by Tom Hanks, at a junior stargazer convention. Scarlett Johansson plays a movie star in the movie. Asteroid City lands in theaters June 16th.
This is outrageous. It's crazy.
It's scandalous.
A new take on the 1970s classic Aristocats is in the works, with Questlove at the helm. It'll be a blend of live action and CGI. Questlove is executive producing and overseeing music for the movie. I can't wait to hear his take on the jazzy classic Everybody Wants to Be a Cat. Harrison Ford is back for his 5th Indiana Jones movie. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is set to premiere at Cannes in May, according to The Hollywood Reporter. Phoebe Waller-Bridge joins the cast, playing the archaeologist's goddaughter. It's a homecoming of sorts because 15 years ago, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull made its debut at the fest. Last year, Top Gun Maverick screened at Cannes. A tutor takes a job to teach a billionaire's son. And what seems like a boring gig turns out to be anything but in The Tutor.
I got an email this morning, summer gig. They're offering you $2,500 a day. Details are sparse, but it's definitely VIP.
Garrett Hedlund plays Ethan, a tutor hired by a rich family to teach their son Jackson, played by Noah Schnapp. It sounds easy enough, right? Not so fast. Jackson shows a lot of interest in Ethan's life that is borderline obsessive. Jackson ups the ante when he starts to threaten to break up Ethan's relationship with his girlfriend, played by Victoria Justice.
When you and Noah approach the characters, do you have a conversation before? Do you just dive in? Do you stay away from each other on set? I'm always curious what it's like when it's mainly the two of you.
Well, you pick and choose those moments where I guess you interact a little bit. We'd filmed this, pretty about as unsequentially as you could. Which becomes quite common on a lot of films these days. We shot the very end of the film first, and I think it was a big moment for both of us. It's not only establishing your character, which sometimes you'll have the allegiance to do in a charming scene or a carefree scene or the very beginning of the film scene, and this was establishing when the stakes are at its highest, and we got to experience each other that way, which meant we got to see each other be quite vulnerable, quite fearless and brave, and then that only sort of excites you for what's to come.
What about the baby? Is it planned?
How do you know about the baby?
This psychological thriller has its uniqueness, but some aspects even had Hedlund remembering thrillers he loved and respected from back in the day.
I love the journey this movie took us on. What was it about the script that made you want to sign on?
I hadn't been involved in a lot of thrillers before, let alone psychological thrillers. And when I read the script, and I got to the third act, there were parts of it that really reminded me of films I appreciated, respected, admired, like Primal Fear. And it wasn't just about the plot lines and the reveals of this and that, but it was about the dramatic sort of commitment and work that was put into these films. And that's sort of what I saw an opportunity in within this, is to sort of disguise myself a little bit as this character, Ethan, to respect and admire and love certain little attributes of him in order to kind of portray him in a way that maybe audiences would relate, and until things take a turn for the worse and go on this ride with Ethan.
I just try and remind myself that we're all just broken.
A little creepy there. Oscar winner Morgan Freeman, Oscar nominee Florence Pugh, and SNL alum Molly Shannon star in a new drama from writer-director Zach Braff. A Good Person focuses on the fallout after a tragic accident.
For the model train enthusiast, we lord over a world where the neighbors are always kind.
Two families are affected by a tragic accident and drug addiction in A Good Person.
In life, of course, nothing is nearly as neat and tidy.
The drama is the latest movie from writer-director Zach Braff.
It's really about how they go on to try and stand back up again after their grief.
Such an emotional journey and so beautifully done, especially how something as small as looking at your Maps app can really start this cycle of events where it's hard to take ownership of little things that lead to such big things.
Absolutely. Well, that's what I wanted to write about, those tiny seconds that change our lives forever. And when I think about days of my life that turned out to be so traumatic, or something horrible happened, or someone died, you know, you didn't know when you were having your morning coffee that was going to be the day that your whole life changed.
I got one of those audio books on how to talk to a teen.
How's that working out?
I am so not going to talk about sex with my grandfather.
Really? Because I just love this. I'm in way over my head.
The film marks the second time Braff has directed Morgan Freeman.
We already had a relationship and a friendship, and I knew for this part I was really going to have to push him into a very dark character and make him go to a place as an actor he hasn't gone to in a while.
I need help. I know.
Braff praises Florence Pugh's performance as a young woman spiraling into drug addiction.
It's not the bunny slope, you know. It's double black diamond acting. It's very, very hard to do, and very hard to do raw, and also honor the people who suffer from addiction. Particularly in this era, I wanted to talk about the opioid crisis. It felt like a very American tale.
What the hell did you do to your hair?
It's Makeover Monday.
It's Friday.
Oh, it's incredible.
My wife used to hang out with me down here. She liked to whistle.
Molly Shannon plays her mother, Diane.
They both are kind of going through their own struggles together.
Yeah, exactly. They're such a close mother and daughter, and Diane is a divorcee, and they're almost like friends, like sisters or whatever. But and you really feel for Diane. She wants her daughter to get off the pills and get out of the house, go apply for a job, but she doesn't know what to do. She tries to do the tough love route, and then she's like, that's not working. So then she gets so scared when she disappears that night. So then she's like enabling, and she's like, oh, here, honey, here, take the pills. Just stay home. We'll figure this out. And you really, you know, having known people who've gone through that with loved ones, you can sympathize with them. It's not an easy path.
I want to go.
No. You've made it this far, and I wouldn't.
I don't want to be here.
Nobody does in the beginning.
I don't want to be anywhere.
Then you are definitely in the right spot.
Such a great, touching movie. All right, what do Donna Summer, Parliament, Gladys Knight, and the band Kiss have in common? They all rose to fame in the 70s under brilliant music producer and Casablanca Records founder Neil Bogart. Spinning Gold brings his story to the forefront in theaters now.
Midnight plane to Houston. My people from Georgia, they would never take a plane to Houston.
Casablanca Records launched in the 1970s, giving rise to musical acts like
Kiss, the Isley Brothers, Gladys Knight, Parliament, Bill Withers, Donna Summer.
Broadway star Jeremy Jordan plays record label founder Neil Bogart.
I had no idea some of the things that happened back in the day.
Yeah, there were no holds barred back in the day. You could kind of get away with anything, and they did. They got away with everything.
Jay Farrow co-stars as Casablanca co-founder Cecil Holmes.
How much fun did you have on this movie? Because you're playing such an icon.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun. Interacting with all the artists of Casablanca and Buddha Records. That was really fun to do. To see George Clinton's grandchildren on set actually portraying him and P-Funk, it was beautiful. To see Sebastian Maniscalco in there playing this character that he's playing, like it was a fun time, and it was a victory. It was very ceremonious because we started shooting this film in 2019, got shut down. Started back again in 2021 in New Jersey. We started in Montreal in 2019. So finally finishing it was just like one of those, you feel like you ran a marathon.
There's something about your character I'm curious. Do you fall in love with them? Do you feel protective of them? Or is it just fun to play somebody who has such a spectrum of energy, emotions, and drive?
You have to fall in love with your characters because, as a rule, most people of this caliber, they love themselves. And that's the only way that they're going to be able to be successful, is to believe in themselves so wholeheartedly that everybody else just eventually gets on board.
So, what happens next?
Taylor Parks becomes music legend Donna Summer.
You know, I was able to be a student again, to be a student of this incredible artist that we all know and love, but also I was able to learn a lot from the journey to becoming Donna, you know, and a lot about her experience in becoming Donna as well. And so it was really, really amazing to be able to be a student again in that aspect.
Neil Bogart died of cancer at just 39, but had started writing a memoir of his glory days. His eldest son, Tim, used his dad's writings to fill in the gaps to his incredible and unlikely success.
What was it like for you to have this finally come to fruition and to celebrate his legacy?
It's just extraordinary. He was such a large-in-life character as depicted in the film, but as a child, I think every parent is a large-in-life character. And you know, what was interesting about finding that document is I think all kids kind of know who their parents become. We don't know who they were at the start. And that was the thing I was having the biggest challenge. I could interview everybody about who he became. It was very hard to find people who could really give me insight into who he was. And my stepmother, Joyce, who's depicted in the film, who was, you know, Kiss's manager and Donna's manager, was going through boxes and discovered this manuscript that he had started writing when he first learned of his illness. And then he thought he was going to be fine. He put it away. And that became the final breadcrumbs I needed to craft it.
Such an incredible life and legacy. We loved him as Kristen Wiig's love interest in Bridesmaids. Now, Chris O'Dowd talks about his wish-granting series, The Big Door Prize. And your first look at the new Trolls movie coming out this fall.
Branch! How come you never told me you had a secret brother?
Correction. Used to be my brother. My brothers walked out on me and never came back.
Branch, we're out of sync. We've gone from boys to men, and now there's only one direction for us to go. The back streets.
Here's your first look at Trolls band together as Anna Kendrick's Poppy and Justin Timberlake's Branch attempt to reunite his brothers as their old band Brozone. The third Trolls movie bops into theaters November 17th.
I'm 40 years old. I have no discernible talent apart from whistling. And I've only ever been in one relationship. I don't know if I'm happy. Never had to think about it.
Chris O'Dowd has a heck of a midlife crisis in his new series, The Big Door Prize.
We meet Dusty the morning of his 40th birthday, but his life is upended when a magic machine turns up at a local grocery store with the promise of telling everybody what their true life potential is. Dusty, who's kind of happy in his marriage and in his parenting, is suddenly made to feel like he should question all of that happiness.
The Big Door Prize can be found on Apple TV+. And when we come back, Kevin Hart tells me how he got John Cena to join his new project. Welcome back to The Lot. Kevin Hart is back resuming his death-defying quest to become an action star in Die Hard 2, with John Cena playing a wacky stuntman with a crossbow.
Trying to hide, little man?
You want my wallet? I want your gun.
You believe this clown?
Nice to beef you.
I love this new take on Die Hard. I love the first one. The second one, John Cena is incredible. How did you get him to come on board?
You know, a great relationship. I found out that John was a fan, as was I. And, you know, you'll be surprised at how far a conversation can go, right? A simple hello and a pitch and alignment can sometimes spin into something pretty amazing like this. I am grateful for the relationship now. He's such a good dude, such a smart guy, and a talented guy. So our movie is so much better because of him.
There's only one man who can help you find who's behind this.
Hello? Sign says no soliciting. Go away.
Yeah, no, we didn't see a sign. There's no sign.
Who took my sign?
We didn't take it.
Go away.
Hey, it's me. It's Kevin Hart.
Well, how do you like your tea?
We're coming off the heels of having John Travolta, who was amazing, right, in our first installment.
Welcome to Ron Wilcox Action Star School. I'm Ron Wilcox.
The hell happened?
That was your first lesson. Rule number 1, you are forbidden from visiting the outside world. You'll stay here.
Okay, I get it.
Next
useless. I want you to storm the house, find the victim, and bring him to safety.
Let me out, let me out, let me out!
Rule number 2, a leading man must learn not to sweat the small stuff.
What are you talking about, the small stuff? I was on fire, Coach Ron!
When I look at everything you have going on, whether it's your tour or your shows, your line on your Twitter says everybody wants to be famous, but nobody wants to do the work. What do you say to aspiring movie stars out there?
I can say that this is something that I saw growing into what it became. What I do know is that I didn't want to do anything halfway. I wanted to work hard. I wanted to apply myself and really try my best to achieve whatever the greatness in front of me was. You know, anything is possible if you believe it. And sometimes all it takes is one belief in the vision. You don't need multiple. You just need the energy and the vision. And if you're willing to go above and beyond and stay true to it, the fruits of your labor can be rewarding. And I would say that it's well worth waiting to see how bright the light gets at the end of the tunnel. It's very easy to give up sometimes. It's harder to stay focused and to stay true to the thing that you believe. I'm a proof of dreaming big and believing in the big idea.
Some sage advice from a superstar. Kiefer Sutherland returns to TV in the spy thriller Rabbit Hole, streaming on Paramount+. Entertainment Tonight sat down with the star, and Kevin Frazier joins us now with the story. Kevin.
Listen, after 9 seasons of 24, Kiefer is no stranger to action, but in Rabbit Hole, he's falling into the world of corporate espionage.
Why me? None of this makes sense. This is a classic thriller. I can't tell the difference between what's real and what's not. I play a character, John Weir, who is normally the guy manipulating the situation, and all of a sudden, the conspiracy turns on him.
Kiefer is literally on the run in the 8-episode spy drama after being framed for murder.
Talk to me about getting ready for the physical element of this.
I did 24 20 some odd years ago, and things creak a little more and they crack a little more. The whole thing just was easy, which is one of the things that makes you the most nervous, right?
Yeah.
I should have suffered more for this.
I feel like you shouldn't say I needed to suffer a little bit more. If there's a season 2, I'm sure some people will say, oh, we'll find a way to make you suffer a little more. We will make you suffer.
I'm sure they will.
And of course, we'll have so much more in the next Entertainment Tonight. I'm Kevin Frazier.
Have a look at this. The White Lotus is heading to Thailand, according to Variety magazine. The first 2 seasons were shot at the Four Seasons resorts in Hawaii and then Italy. Season 3 could take place at one of the luxury hotel giants properties in Thailand, and the resorts are spread across the city, country, jungle, and beach, giving plenty of gorgeous settings to choose from. Don't go away. Megan Thee Stallion and Mariah Carey, they're pairing up. We're going to tell you where when we come back. Welcome back to The Lot. Superstar Mariah Carey and rapper Megan Thee Stallion will headline this year's LA Pride in the Park. Mariah says she's honored to be part of the event, saying, quote, "Let's come together to celebrate love, inclusion, and pride." Carey will take the stage on June 10th, and Megan Thee Stallion will bring down the house a day earlier. Meg calls LA Pride, quote, "an incredible event that advocates for diversity, inclusivity, and equality." The event is 2 days this year and will cap off the weekend with its 53rd annual parade in Hollywood. And we leave you with a rule for happiness. Well, Arnold Schwarzenegger's rule, that is. The actor tells the Pump Daily that the one sure path he would recommend is to find a purpose and feel useful. The actor and legendary bodybuilder said money can buy you food, a house, and comfort, though he added it does drive him crazy when rich people say money can't buy you happiness. Although he did agree to some point because he knows a lot of rich people who are still miserable and angry, I'll say. That's a wrap for this episode. Next week, meet the new Pink Ladies of Greece and Owen Wilson's latest role inspired by the painter Bob Ross. I'm Suzanne Marquez. See you again next week on The Lot.